Like if there was somebody who is at any stage in life interested in getting to the field of psychology, it could be a wide range. I know it's widely applicable, but maybe let's say clinical psych and being a therapist. Like what is kind of one piece of advice that after all of the experience that you've had that you'd really want to like hit home?
I would, and I might give this particular piece of advice to anybody in almost any, certainly in any of the healthcare or health science fields, is think about what you want your contribution to be. Think about why you want to do this, of course, but think about what it is you want to be able to affect by taking this route. The answer can change and evolve over time. You don't have to commit to something for your life, but have in purpose in mind. Because, if there's one thing that is unimpressive to me when students come to our program to interview, you say, tell me why you want to do this. You say, and lots of folks are given, and maybe it's anxiety-provoking situation, so you're going to go with something safe, like, well, I want to help people.
That's got to be 90% of answers.
I want to help people, yeah.
Broad
I want to, I've always enjoyed, or everybody in the family tells me their problems. You're like, okay, but that's not a very reflective answer. That doesn't say to me, I have a sense of purpose in this. Because graduate school, especially a doctoral program, let's face it, you're in the middle of it right now. It can be pretty brutal when you think about the demands on your time, what you're expected to do, how to perform academically, your clinical training, your research. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have some kind of personal life through all of this too. Is your family ever going to see you? Your girlfriend ever see you? That kind of thing requires the motivation that comes from your heart. And I can tell who has it and who's struggling for it. Because it takes, if I think back to my PhD program, sometimes it was miserable. It was so not only rough, but I felt like my professors were generally so unsympathetic and almost, some of them not even very nice people who just wanted to make you feel stupid. And so, my pledge is that in our program, you at least feel that we care about your experience, even though it's pretty difficult. So that's the advice I think I would give.
I love that. Because like we were saying, there's I want to help people. It's like, well, most people want to help people, but
hopefully,
yeah.
But people are incredibly nuanced, so you can't, if you really want to get down to what is important to you and what impact you want to have in the world, your North Star, to give a term to what you're kind of describing, should also be incredibly nuanced, because you're not going to enter the world working whatever and do something that is cookie cutter, right?
Right.
To have that true definition of what you want to do should be nuanced as well. It should be very specified to what your impact on a very specific section of like causes or missions in the world should be.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah. And of course, we don't draw people who are going to come in and say, I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
If they did, I would say, boy, are you in the wrong fucking place for that. Sorry.
It's okay.
Prepare yourself. Yeah. We eat, but it's not a glamorous profession at all. It's about service. And what kind of service are you? How's your level of humility? How's your level of respect for other people? That kind of thing. And that's exactly right. That's one thing that I think we look for in folks who want to join us in our program. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reflective process is so important. And like you're saying, it's so important to kind of have that going into it. And then at the same time, like, it's okay to continue to ask, like, why am I doing this? And I think that that's been helpful for me in this process of going through a program, is reminding myself of what my values are, or having other people help me remember what my values are in this, because it is strenuous. And that's a question that is going to come up. And if you're really not ready to accept it, or really don't know what it is, then it's going to be a lot harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember, I guess it was after my second year. I don't know what had happened, but I was in therapy. I was talking to my therapist one day about it, and I said, I just don't know if I can do this. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I think maybe I'll go to social work school instead. You can be in and out in 2 years. And so my therapist at the time said to me, well, maybe you should talk this over with your advisor. I said, oh, hell no. My advisor, I don't feel all comfortable. But I said I would talk over with my clinical supervisor at my practicum site. And so I went to her, she being an MSW. I thought what she would say is, oh, yeah, this is great. But she looked at me and she said, she was this kind of, not to stereotype, but this really kind of no-nonsense lesbian. I loved her to pieces, but she would not mince words. And she said, you out of your fucking mind? Shut up. Said, you get that doctorate degree. You got that doctorate degree. You told me you wanted to work with our community. I said, well, that's true. I do. And she said, well, then shut up and do your work and stay in the PhD program. You know why I'm saying that? And I said, no, why? And she says, because to be able to do what you want to do, you're going to have so much more at your disposal. Doors will open to you that will not be open to anybody else, or at least nobody else without a doctorate degree. And you say you want to serve the community? Well, let me tell you, the community needs you. You know that. I was working actually at an LGBT mental health facility. And she said, stay in the program, please. And I said, all right. Because I trusted her. I trusted her advice. And of course, there are times you want to be thoughtful, but other times you just want to trust somebody. Say, I know she knows what she's talking about here. So I stayed in the obviously, and the rest is history. And it got easier from that because it helped me remember this isn't unlike running the marathon. Okay, mile 15 is difficult, but I know I will cross the finish line at some point.